The students, yesterday we saw how Gonzalo and company trying to console the king. Lord Francisco saying that he saw Ferdinand swimming across the sea and escaping. Therefore he is alive. But the king does not believe that. And then Sebastian and Antonio blaming Alonso for this misfortune. Sebastian says it's because of King Alonso that they are in such a peril now, because he did not want to give his daughter to a European in spite of so many of them begging him. He wanted to give her to an African, to the king of Tunis. As a result, they had to go to Tunis, and on their way back they met with all this misfortune. So the king was feeling so sad, and he says, I am the biggest loser. Wherein Gonzalo finds fault with Sebastian, saying it is not the right time and this is not the proper way to speak to Alonso. That is where we stopped. Now we shall today look at this beautiful passage, verses 143 to 192. So 143 to 192 is a unit wherein Gonzalo is trying to say something. Utopian vision of Gonzalo. Utopian vision of Gonzalo. What is utopian? Utopian is idealistic or perfect state. Idealistic or perfect state where everything is perfectly okay. There is no fault. There is nothing lacking. Nothing goes wrong. Everything is perfect. Imperfection is not there. That is a utopian. It's an imaginary world. Is there a place like that? No, it is not possible. It's an impossible place. So, he wants to say that what Gonzalo might do if he were the lord of the island. What Gonzalo would do if he were to be the lord of the island. That is what he is explaining. If he were to be the lord, if he were to be the king of the island, what all things he will do? What are the changes he will bring about? That's what the whole discussion is. The changes, policies Gonzalo might introduce are explained. The changes or policies Gonzalo might introduce if he were, he is not, if he were the king of the island. So that is what is explained. So the whole thing is based on Of Cannibals by Montaigne. Montaigne was a famous writer, and he wrote something called Of Cannibals. So from that, a story was translated by John Florio in 1603. So the original writer, he need not know all these details. These details will not come for the exam. Just for your understanding, I am explaining to you. of Cannibals was a book written by Mundane. From that, a story was taken by John Florio and translated in 1603. So based on that one only, this utopian idea of Gonzalez came. What is the purpose of this? Change of topic to provide something to Sebastian and Antonio to laugh at. What is the purpose of this passage? You remember that beginning when they were found in the island, Gonzalo was trying to tell others that we should be glad because we have been blessed, we have been miraculously saved. Only a few in millions are saved that manner, others are being killed. So we should be very happy. Then he goes on explaining all good things about the island, the air, the sweet air, the greenery and all those things. He was doing all these to make Alonso happy. But somehow, without his knowledge, they get into another topic. Because when Gonzalo spoke about their dresses being kept intact, unstained by the salt water in spite of the storm, and he said that it looks that as if we have put it on for the first time at the marriage of the king's daughter. The entire scene changes and others join, and Antonio and Sebastian find fault with King Alonso for taking them to Tunis, and in their way back all these misfortune happened. So the original intention of Gonzalo was to give them comfort, especially to the king, to make king happy. But it ended up again in a big catastrophe wherein Sebastian blamed the king and the king was feeling all the more sad. Now once again Gonzalo is trying to change the topic by introducing another idea, that if I were the king of this island, what all things I would be doing. That's what Gonzalo is going to explain. So by doing that, he wants to change the topic. He does not want them to dwell on the topic of the marriage, the storm, the tempest, and the destruction and the loss of Ferdinand. So he wants to comfort King Alonso. At the same time, he wants to provide something for Sebastian and Antonio to laugh at, because they were making fun of everybody. They were making fun of everything. They were finding fault with all and everything. So, since they were of that attitude, Gonzalo wants to give some topic for them to laugh at. But at the end, what happened was they just laughed at Gonzalo. They ridiculed him. They laughed at and said, "What a funny idea you have got." They did not pay respect to him. Let's have a look. Page number 57. Gonzalo, had I plantation of this isle, my lord? Had I plantation of this isle, my lord? See, now Gonzalo is only a counselor. Sebastian is the brother of King Alonso. Antonio is the Duke of Naples. So both of them are on higher rank, much higher than Gonzalo. That's why Gonzalo is addressing them as my lord. Had I plantation of this Isil, that is, plantation is colonization. You know what is colonization is? British colonized India and made India a slave. So that is colonization. Had I plantation of this Isil means if I were to colonize this island, and he did not complete. He wanted to continue. Before that, Antonio intervenes and says he would sow it with nettle seed. That is seeds of thorny plants. Yes, if he would become the king of this island, what will he do? He will sow seeds of thorny plants. And Sebastian joins Antonio and says, or dogs or mallows. D-O-C-K-S. Dogs means variety of weedy herbs or wild plants. They are put together called roadside weeds. So one says he will, if he becomes the colonizer of this island, what will he do? He will sow thorny plants. And another one says he will sow roadside weeds. That is to say, he will do all unwanted things or stupid things. What else Gonzalo can do? Gonzalo, and were the king on it, what would I do? Now only he is completing. They did not allow him to complete the whole thing. In between they intervened and said what Gonzalo will be doing. Now he completes. The whole thing is like this. Had I plantation of this Isil, my lord, and were the king on it, what would I do? If I were to colonize this island, and if I were, it's an imaginary utopian idea, if I were the king on it, king on this island, what would I do? It's a question mark. Then what all things will do? Then Sebastian again intervenes and he says, escape being drunk for want of wine. What will you do? Escape. Escape means escape being drunk for want of wine. You'll drink so much and you'll run short of wine. That means you'll be doing only that much. Keep on drinking and as a result you run short of wine. Escape being drunk for want of wine. Gonzalo, now he is saying what kind of idea he has got about the colony. After the colonization in the island, what all things he will be doing, he will explain now. Gonzalo, the Commonwealth, I would by contraries execute all things. What all things he will execute? For no kind of traffic would I admit, no name of magistrate. Letters should not be known, riches, poverty, and use of service, none. Contract, succession, bound of land, tilth, vineyard, none. No use of metal, corn, or wine, or oil. No occupation, all men idle, all. And women too, but innocent and pure, no sovereignty. So that is the utopian idea of Gonzalo. If he were to be the king of the Isil, what kind of things he will execute? He will put into practice. These are the things. No kind of traffic. Traffic is commerce, trade. There is no commerce. Nobody will be trading. There is no business will be conducted. Would I permit means I will not permit any business or commerce. No name of magistrate. That means no magistrate to judge things or to rule people. Letters should not be known. Letters is learning literature. Nobody will be going to school. No education. No studies at all. Riches, poverty and use of service, none. There is nobody called rich, somebody called poor, nothing of that sort. Nothing will be there. Contract, succession, bound of land, land boundaries, somebody owning property, all these things are cancelled. Tilth vineyard, tilth is tilling, that is cultivation of vineyard. No, nobody will be cultivating. No cultivation will be done. No use of metal, corn or wine. Corn is grain. So people will not cultivate, they will not produce grain. There is no metal work done, no wine, no oil, no occupation, no job at all. Nobody will be doing any work at all. Everybody sit comfortably. Why do you want to struggle hard? Do this one, that one, all things. All activities will be stopped. All men idle. All. Not some. Present society, some people are idle. Some are working hard. Some are earning money. There are rich people, poor people. Children go to school to study. None of these things will be there. Everybody sits at home, idle, relaxing. And women too. Women also don't work. They also will take rest. But innocent and pure. So he adds two qualities to women. Men need not be innocent and pure, but women will be innocent and pure. No sovereignty at all. Sovereignty is exercise of supreme power. Who is the sovereign power in India? The President. The President is the highest authority. In Britain, it is the Queen. So, sovereignty, the exercise of supreme power, it is not there. There is no parliament, there is no houses, no prime minister, no president, no magistrate, nobody. Kushiya. Eve. Beautiful. Beautiful. Sebastian. Yet he would be king on it. So Sebastian is making fun of Gonzalo. Gonzalo said, there's nothing will be there, no authority, no magistrate, no sovereign power at all. Then Sebastian says, in spite of that, Gonzalo will be the king over the island. If there is no sovereignty, how can he become the king? If no sovereignty, no magistrate, no rulers, there cannot be a king. In spite of all that, he will be the king. Antonio. The latter end of his commonwealth forgets the beginning. So, what Antonio is saying is, there is no connection between the beginning and the end. He says something and he does something else. So the latter end of his commonwealth forgets the beginning. The first half was and second half. They don't coincide. They don't go together. So beginning he said, there will not be any ruler, and what afterwards he says, he will be the king of it. Gonzalo. All things in common nature should produce without sweat or endeavor. Common nature means, all things in common means common use of all. For the common use of everybody, nature should produce without sweat or endeavor. Now who produces? Of course, nature does its own work. You need to have rain, you need to have sun. you need the soil. So nature work is there, but at present we have to work hard. The farmers work hard. Now we have the farmers strike going on in Delhi against the new policies of the government. So, because they are saying they are the people who work, they are the people who produce food for the entire country, and they are not getting sufficient money. They are not respected. Whatever they produce, they get very little, others are making money. See? So they are the producers. People are the producers. All things in common, nature should produce without sweat or endeavor. So Gonzalo says, no, people will not work. Nature will produce without sweat and endeavor what is needed for the common use. Treason, felony, sword, pike, knife, gun, or need of any engine would I not have. I will not have the following things. What are they? Treason, that is a betrayal, people betraying one another, one betraying the other, one cheating the other. That will not be there. Crime, no stealing, no atrocities, nothing of that sort. No killing, no sword at all, there is no sword, no pike, that is spear, no knife at all. Gun is not the instrument of warfare, no warfare. Today you know that so much money is spent on weapons. You had paper 1 language, the essay I had given about the increasing budget on defense. So, but Gonzalo says in his island where he is king, there will not be any warfare, no weapons at all. People will be living peacefully. But nature should bring forth of its own kind all poison, all abundance, to feed my innocent people. So somebody has to produce. People need food to eat. But human beings are not going to work hard. Men and women, they will not work. They will sit idle. They will not sweat. They will not endeavor. No hard work. Nothing will be there. Then who will produce? Nature will produce. Nature will produce what is needed for human beings. So, but nature should bring forth of its own kind all poison, that is in plenty, all abundance, to feed my innocent people. All men and women are very innocent. They sit idle and they just keep eating. That's all. So nature, it is a duty of the nature to produce. How will the nature produce things in itself? Without the help of human beings, without the help of engines, without the help of weapons? Don't ask. Because it is only an utopian idea. Sebastian, no marrying among his subjects. What is there about marriage, Gonzalo? Is there marriage? Do they get married? Antonio, none, man, all idle. No marriage at all. Marriage means extra work. They have to get married, they have to live together, all kinds of things. Why to make them work hard? No. Idle. They have to sit idle, no marriage at all. Gonzalo, that is Antonio is Adi. So actually Sebastian is asking Gonzalo, is there marriage among his subjects? Sebastian says, none, man, all idle. All are supposed to be idle, therefore no marriage. Gonzalo, I would be such perfection governed, sir, to excel the golden age. So he does not answer the question. Instead of that, he says, I would, with such perfection govern, sir, to excel the golden age. I will rule such a way. He said there is no sovereignty, remember. But now he says, I would with such perfection govern. No government, but he says, I would govern, sir, to excel the golden age. I will rule such a way that my rule will be better than that of golden age. What is golden age reference is given there? To excel the golden age, to surpass the joys and blessings of the golden age. The golden age was, in classical mythology, a time of perfect happiness when the god Saturn ruled the universe. So when god Saturn was ruling the universe, that was the golden age. Saturn. The perfect days, the best days. Everybody was happy, everything was blessed. Golden age. Golden age is normally considered as the best time. Some people say Akbar's rule was the golden age in India. So like that. So the best times. And Gonzalo says, I will make my governing better than the golden age. Sebastian, God save His Majesty. So they are making fun of Gonzalo. Sebastian is supposed to be the brother of a king. And Gonzalo is only a counselor. And he calls him God save His Majesty. Such things are used only to address a king. God save His Majesty. Antonio, long live Gonzalo. Long live is used only for the kings. You tell the kings to praise them or to wish them, long live the king. Let the king live for a long time and rule. So Antonio says, long live Gonzalo, making fun of him. Gonzalo, and do you mark me, sir? And he wants to say something. And do you mark me, sir, means, are you paying attention? Gonzalo is asking Sebastian and Antonio. Meanwhile, Alonso intervenes. So far Alonso was only listening. He did not say anything. Now he intervenes. Prithee no more. Thou dost talk nothing to me. King was irritated. He was not interested in the talk. So Alonso says, Prithee, I pray you, I beg you, no more of this thing. Thou dost talk nothing to me. Here nothing means nonsense. Thou shalt not talk nonsense to me. Whatever you are speaking is nonsense. It makes no sense. Because you are saying there is no rule, no nothing, and then you are speaking about governing, and you are speaking about all impossible things. Nobody will work, everybody will be idle, and the nature will produce for the eating. What all nonsense you are speaking. Stop talking. Gonzalo, I do well believe your highness, and did it to minister occasion to these gentlemen who are of such sensible and nimble lungs that they always used to laugh at nothing. Now Gonzalo is revealing to king what is the purpose. I told you what is the purpose. The purpose of saying all these things. This utopian state came to his mind and he expressed it in such a way in order to achieve something. What is that? I do well believe your highness, and did it to minister occasion to these gentlemen. Minister means to provide occasion to these gentlemen, a chance to these gentlemen who are of such sensible and nimble lungs. Sensible means sensitive, and nimble lungs, that they always used to laugh at nothing. Used to laugh at means they are accustomed to. These two are accustomed to laugh at anything and everything. Who are these two? Antonio and Sebastian. They laugh at anything and everything, and they make fun of everybody. So I just wanted to provide them some opportunity to laugh. Antonio, it was you we laughed at. So even when Antonio Gonzalo was saying that, they are making fun of him. When Gonzalo said that I wanted to make these fellows to laugh, to provide a topic for them to laugh, Antonio says, it was you we laughed at. We were laughing at you, not at the idea you expressed. Gonzalo, who in this kind of merry fooling am nothing to you, so you may continue and laugh at nothing still. So he is playing on the word. Who in this kind of merry fooling? Merry fooling is idle talk. Idle talk. Who in this kind of idle talk am nothing to you, nonsense to you, so you may continue and laugh at nonsense still. So nothing is nonsense. So you continue to laugh at the nonsense. Antonio, what a blow was there given. What a blow was there given means, what kind of reaction, what a wonderful reaction it was. Sebastian, and it had not fallen flat long. It had not fallen flat long. The meaning is given there. Flat long is with the flat side of a sword, harmless. The sword has two sides. One is a sharp side, another one is a flat side. If the flat side hits you, there is no harm. If the sharp side hits, it will cut you. So he says, and it had not fallen flat side. That means it hasn't hit you badly. It hasn't hit the target. Supposed to, the sharp side should hit. That is to say, Gonzalo meant to do something, but he could not achieve it. Only the flat side hit. Gonzalo, you are gentlemen of brave metal. You would lift the moon out of her sphere if she would continue in it 5 weeks without changing. So now Gonzalo says, you are gentlemen of brave metal. Brave means noble. Metal means spirit. You are gentlemen of noble spirit. You would lift the moon out of her sphere. Sphere is orbit. You will lift the moon out of her orbit if you would continue in it. If she would continue in it 5 weeks without changing. If the moon continued to be in the orbit without changing for 5 weeks, you people are capable of lifting the moon off the orbit. That is, you are capable of doing impossible things. Enter Ariel, invisible, playing solemn music. So while this conversation was going on between these gentlemen, Ariel enters playing solemn music. But invisible, they cannot see, they can only hear the music. Sebastian, we would sow and then go a bad fowling. We would sow means, yes, we will change We will lift the moon out of her sphere, out of her orbit. We would do so. Means we will lift the moon out of the orbit. And then go a bat fowling. Bat fowling meaning is given there. Catching birds with bats or poles. An old cruel method. So after that we will go on catching birds with bats or poles. I am just trying to make fun of Gonzalo. Antonio. Nay, good my lord, be not angry. Then Antonio tells Gonzalo, please don't get angry. We are not trying to find fault with you. Gonzalo. No, I warrant you, I will not adventure my discretion so weakly. Will you laugh me asleep? For I am very heavy. So Gonzalo says, I warrant you, that is, I assure you, I will not adventure my discretion so weakly. I shall not take the risk of losing my reputation for good sense. I have a reputation for good sense. I shall not lose it. Will you laugh me asleep? For I am very heavy. Heavy means weary, tired. I am terribly tired. Will you laugh me asleep? Make me to laugh and go to sleep because I am very much tired. Antonio, go sleep and hear us. Okay, you go and sleep and you hear us means we will keep talking or we will keep laughing. You go and take rest. We should stop here today. Thank you.